Welcome to another episode of the APL Spotlight Series. Incredible guests the world over with amazing insights, experiences, and much more to share with all of us. That's a lot of love that they're sharing. High vibe. They've been somewhere and they're sharing it with us. I love these guests. I'm learning from them all the time. We have Leanne Venier coming back. She's here in Texas. As a eagle flies, she's probably about 70 miles away. Quicker than that if we had a helicopter. And she's got a lot of hats that she wears. She's an international artist, engineer, inventor, East Asian medicine. If it's red light therapy, she was there before it became a fashionable trend on all the social media sites and stuff like that. She's also super intuitive. And if it's the science of color, she's there. Just we've had her on the show a bunch, and I get excited every time I see her. So I'm super excited to have her back on. Leanne, welcome.
Thank you, Michael. Always love being here and chatting with you and having some great conversations.
Well, let's start with the $1 trillion question that technically everyone has to be wondering. Although, if you're watching the news, you're really not going to know right now what's going on with the globe. There could be, and I don't want to mention a lot of complexity or details, but I'll do it. There could be a lot of shortages, a lot of difficulties when it comes to just basic needs, food, power. Humanity, for some reason, is choosing a little more like war and a little less peace. How do you want to term all this? Is it actually a way of unwinding all the structure that's built up over time and to help bring us towards more compassion and kindness somehow?
Yeah, I think it ultimately is, well, sometimes people have to get very uncomfortable to be able to shift into a new plane of awareness, consciousness, whatever. Because when we're comfortable, that's not when the biggest lessons happen. So when we go through periods of discomfort, that's when we have the most valuable learnings. And I think we are in the midst of a big shift in the consciousness of all of humanity. And these are kind of some growing pains that we're going to be going through. It's going to be a little bit of a bumpy road, but ultimately the end is much more, I don't know, high vibe than what we're kind of dealing with right now. There's a lot that it's, I don't know if it's unraveling. It's kind of like, it's getting rid of this, like, peeling away these layers that have been cloaking and covering reality, like our true essence,
Mm.
that we've been overshadowed by all of these things that have been imposed upon us, and we've been conditioned to think that's normal. And more people are waking up to how our true sovereign state should be and how it actually is if we don't have all of these things shrouding and covering us and keeping us in a state of fear and stress and that sort of thing, which is where it's very easy to control people. So, but staying focused on that, what we ultimately want to manifest, which is, free, clear, being restored to our sovereign state, but keeping that in mind instead of getting mired in the details of like, go to the store and I can't buy toilet paper. People like, the first thing that people, anytime there's a shortage of anything, it's like, I gotta stock up on toilet paper for whatever reason. It's insane. But anyway, so staying focused on where we're going and what ultimately is going to be manifesting through all of this and understanding that it's just part of the process. And it can be fast or it can be slow. So the faster, the more you focus on the ultimate positive result, the faster the process. And it will be different for different people. So it's not all, we're not all in the same, experiencing the same reality based on our projections of what we're putting out there. So you can completely change your perception of reality, even if it's completely different from other people that you may know. And you may find also yourself wanting to spend less time with certain individuals or certain groups because they're not making as fast progress as you. That makes sense.
It does. I love this. If it's the baseball sports league, the league of baseball, American baseball, there are general managers, there are owners, there's different stadiums, different geographic audiences, there's different positions on these teams. Could you explain to us the different constituencies in the galaxy in terms of unconditional love beings? Could you put some flavor to it, whether it's galactic, it's personal, it's interdimensional, it's angels, it's fairies, it's your loved ones? Could you just share a little of your experience over the years? What do we need to know? And then how do we tap them a little more?
Well, first of all, I think having the awareness that we're not just here alone is an important thing, because that's kind of, we're programmed to think that we're just these cogs in a wheel, and there are these overlords that tell us what to do, and we're just supposed to listen to them and follow the rules and that sort of thing. So understanding that we have so much more power and we have supports and, beyond the physical realm that are there to always be there to help us and support us and guide us. But if you don't even know that they're there, you don't even know that you can rely on those supports. So I don't know if I can make an analogy with the game of baseball, because I do know baseball, but I don't know it well enough to come up with metaphors for baseball. But
Well, go ahead and share just a few of the types of beings out there that you've enjoyed interacting with. A guardian angel, angels, religious, non-religious figures. What have you experienced?
um, I have I I have guides that I've had throughout my life. I get messages. I still don't know who exactly they are. I have a lot of experiences from when I was young. Um, I don't know that I don't know that there are a lot of different theories about the origin of humanity. Um, the more I learn about some of these things, the more they resonate and the more they align with my own experiences in childhood, my memories, and my experiences throughout this lifetime. Um, I still couldn't tell you who they are or where they come from. I just know that they're there and everybody has access to them, but most of us don't realize that they're there. So I've been fortunate in that I've had, what I call my downloads, where I get information delivered to me whenever there's been something that I need to do. I get the information, and then I've learned throughout my life just follow that, because it very seldom makes logical sense when I get information about do this thing. Well, no, I can't say seldom. Years ago, it rarely made sense, but now it makes more and more sense, like because I see the path more clearly. So, and now I've started also asking for those pieces of information when I need them, because before I would just rely on when they would come and it would be guidance and here, do this now. And I just learned, listen to the guidance, listen to the download and do it, and it will make sense later on.
Hmm.
So I've started, partly because of our conversations, knowing that I can actually ask, and ask for answers and direct information. So I've been doing that, not super often, but more often than I ever did before, because before it was never really. It was like I just would wait, not even waiting. It would just be, I would be delivered, a download and here, do this now. Or sometimes it's a message for other people, but
Was
so
there a
I still can't
time?
answer the question.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
For the big picture, back to the first question of what's going on around the globe, can you just short answer this to an age that you were? Was there an age or a 10-year window where everything going around the globe, you wouldn't even have picked up on it? You would have had to be like everybody else. When the stock market has crashed 50%, let's say it's August, it hasn't rippled yet so that everyone knows it's happening, because the news isn't really covering things in a transparent way right now. I think we're going to have to find out the hard way of where we're headed globally, the impact with different nations losing power and everything else. Was there a time in your life, like a little window when you were 25 or 30, where you just wouldn't have picked up on this until your power actually cut out in the Philippines? Was there a time you weren't as aware? You were
Um,
focused on work, you were sort of head in the sand and just
Well, I don't, as far as things going on globally, it was like picking up energetically, but I was going through a lot of my own learning process and having my own experiences with other realms and that sort of
Sure.
thing, and trying to figure out that sort of thing. So that was kind of my process for several years in my teens and 20s. And then I moved to Italy for
Right. And you
7 years.
told us on one of the shows you shared some amazing Italy stories. I think it was the very first appearance you did, and that'll be listed below the video. So let's go a little earlier than Italy. Can you share one of those transformative experiences before Italy that allowed you to open up more, experience more back then in your teenage years, your early 20s? Do you have one more experience that was just very transformative that allowed you
Uh,
to open up more?
well, I kind of had them all throughout my life. So it wasn't that they suddenly started when I was in my 20s. I got more clarity about some of the experiences that I was having when I was in my early 20s or kind of mid 20s. Something that was going on where I was kind of tapping into these other realms and I didn't know what was going on. And that had been the case since I was very young. So I got clarity. It was actually through an intuitive that told me what was going on. And then it gave me a lot more clarity. So from that point on, then I knew what was going on and I had something that then I could tangible that I could research, if that makes sense. And then that took me on a whole other trajectory. Not other trajectory with clarity. So like experiences, spontaneous out of body experiences and things like that. And then encountering entities, which was kind of terrifying.
Happy entities, not negative entities, but positive entities.
No, these were not positive
Oh,
entities.
okay.
No, they were not. No,
So
which is why
negative
it's
entities.
fine. Yes. So
Okay.
and I there it's kind of funny because there was a YouTube video just recently in the last few weeks where I don't even remember exactly what it was about, but in the comments below, everybody's saying I've had the same experience. I've had that same experience of being in these hypnagogic states where you get, paralyzed and you can't move, but then these things come into your room and not knowing it really it's about not knowing our own personal power and it's kind of a metaphor for a lot of things in life. When you have something that's, trying to impose fear and control you, and you're letting it happen because you think they have power
And they don't.
and they do something and they don't. So when you realize that you're the one with all the power, and it's kind of like, the Wizard of Oz behind the screen. It's like this little shrunken man, and it's like, you believe it's something bigger than it is. So that for me was a big, big transition, I think, having that awareness and coming into my full power, and realizing that I'm 100% in control and that I have support whenever I need. So that was kind of the pivotal point. And that
You're my second guest this week who mentioned the Wizard of Oz metaphor, and I love it. I want to jump to something. Let's pretend we take away all your experiences, everything that you know, and we're going down to just treetop level only. If you were to give some very basic step-by-step advice for somebody who's like, whoa, I'm resonating with a lot of stuff. I'm feeling more, I'm seeing more, I'm hearing more. What's very basic advice that you would like to give to people about just saying yes to the positive side of the universe? More heart, more love, more feeling, more expansion. You don't have to know much. It's not about being up here. Can you take us through almost like a life coach, intuitive guy? I mean, you're a great teacher for so many things. Take us
Yeah.
through just the basics right now.
Yeah, it's the same thing that I teach in my community, my REDjuvenator community. It's like you have to, I call it the sand in the gas tank. You have to get rid of the sand in the gas tank to be able to flow freely. So if there's pollution coming into your life in any form, whether it's energy or, garbage food or watching the news or anything that's polluting you, either physically or mentally or energetically, it's the most important thing is not about focus on, oh, I need to meditate and be elevated, blah, blah, blah. That's secondary to making sure you filter out the garbage. Don't let the garbage into your plane of reality in the first place. So don't let the garbage into your physical body. Don't let the garbage into your mind by watching mainstream media, or going on social media sites and getting all, they all are designed to keep you in that state of agitation and fear. So don't do that. And I tell people, just stop cold turkey. It's an addiction, and like sometimes you have to just like stop, because it's very hard to not be influenced by that. So even if you're like, oh, I understand, and it's like, just don't let the garbage in, because when you don't let it in, that's less that you have to clean up. And when you're focused on constantly cleaning up, if you even know that you need to clean out that garbage, you can't also be at the same time available to connecting with source and these higher energies. So because you're distracted, so don't let the garbage in. And that's like 79% of the battle right there. It's like, just, and it's not about like putting up barricades so much as just not, sort of, but not really. It's like not spending energy barricading things, but just like, letting things bounce off you. It's more like that. It's like, don't let things come in and get stuck to you. If they come near you, just like deflect, pass through you, whatever. I don't know if that's a good explanation, but again, the most important thing is don't let the garbage in the first place. And if that means I don't personally know people that watch television, but I know a lot of people do, and they're addicted to watching the news every day. It's like, it's all programming. It's all to keep you in that state of agitation, fear. So you're very easy to control that way. You can't think and connect with source when you are in that state of agitation. You're in that fight or flight state. It's the same thing with the healing process. You can't heal and be in fight or flight at the same time. Your physical body will only do one thing. It's like, I got to run away from the tiger. However, whatever puts you in that fight or flight state, your body perceives it as a threat, and all your energy goes towards, I got to run away from the tiger. I've got to protect myself, fight, flight, or freeze. So you can't be in a healing state. You can't be in a tap into source. You can't be in a flow state because you're like so fearful when you're paralyzed and you've got that anxiety going in the back of your mind constantly. So again, it's just like keeping the stuff out in the first place. Don't let it in. Keep the sand in your gas tanks, the metaphor thing.
NASA astronaut Story Musgrave, he said, getting out of the comfortable path. That's what exploration is all about. Whether he knew it was a spiritual quote, who knows? He definitely was talking to his angels back then.
Who was that?
Story Musgrave, astronaut.
Oh,
I
okay.
think he was space shuttles for those missions. He said, getting out of the comfortable path, that's what exploration is all about. I wanted to use that as a way to look at maybe that exploration. It's getting out of the head, out of the mind, like you're just talking about, out of externality, and it's getting to here. Can you take it from there and talk more about the journey from here to here?
Yeah, that's another very important thing, because we get into patterns, behavior patterns, thought patterns, even from early childhood. And just because something is familiar, and that's the way you've done it all the time, or that's the way you thought, or that's the way you've reacted, or that's the way you behave, it doesn't mean it's healthy and beneficial to you and your growth process in this lifetime. So stepping off that path that is familiar, not necessarily healthy, that's where that again ties in with the original thing that I said. It's like when we go through a period of discomfort, we have to make ourselves break that pattern, because again, recognizing that the pattern that we're in is not healthy, that we have so much more power, and then do something uncomfortable to break out of that mold. So shifting into doing something completely different. You can do little things like just, like, oh, I drive the same way to this place every single day. You go on autopilot, right? Find a different route. and start doing little things like that. Take a completely different way of going to, I don't know, whatever, your store, your work or whatever. Start breaking those habits. And once you start doing it a little bit, even in, these innocuous ways in your life, it becomes easier to start breaking those habits in other more significant areas of your life.
I have a little bit of a complex question. There's three parts to it to get us to your answer. So here are three separate happenings out there. One's a movie. One's from Elizabeth April on Instagram, a mom, actually. She's a remote viewer and other stuff, very popular. But she's just sharing a mom experience. She's got another adult in the room, and she has a child who's under 6. And she's handing a single marble to the child who knows how to count up to about probably 10. The child says 1 when they get the first marble in the hand, and then a second marble, 2. Two adults watching, third marble, 3, fourth marble, 4, fifth marble goes in, child says 4, not 5. And it's a matrix moment with the cat, a glitch, a split. The child's at 4. I think there's only 4 after that, even though they put the fifth in, and you got 2 adults as a witness. So reality split, shift. The second story is Celestine Prophecy, the movie. We just taped Barnett Bain, Hollywood film director who did Eckhart Tolle's Milton Secret movie with Donald Sutherland, Mia Pleasance, or Mia, Mia Pleasance. I think I got her name right. Mia Kushner out of Canada. He also did What Dreams May Come and so on, but he teaches creativity. So he was talking all about Celestine Prophecy, the movie. They do this in the movie show Auras. We'll probably do that later. But I'm talking the scene in the jungle where the good guys raise their vibe. The soldiers in that Latin American country are looking for them. They want to arrest them. They go invisible. And I did have another viewer on the audience point out that, hey, one of them wavered and had fear, and then the soldiers caught her and caught the group. But I never tell that part. Okay, so they went high vibe and shifted their reality and went invisible, and the soldiers went right by initially. Now, the third example, Cynthia Sue Larson's been a fantastic guest, coming back on for her second or third taping shortly. Mandela effect, not Mandela. I mispronounce everything. Nelson Mandela. Some people thought he died in prison. It's like Star Wars. Luke, I'm your father. Not the exact line, even though we remember it that way. Was it? Which way was reality shifting? So she writes about that. She has a couple right into her newsletter that she puts in her newsletter. Their story about going to the ER is incredible. Beautiful husband and wife. He unfortunately needs attention, cuts himself at home. Paramedics arrive, do temporary whatever. They know that this ER is busy 24/7. It's every stall is filled. They're not getting out in less than like 3 to 5 hours. The paramedics are great. The 2 nurses are great. Every stall is empty when they get there. They have the highest vibe experience. Clock moves. He gets his stitches or whatever. They leave. They never see the place. The nurses are telling him it's packed. And they had the fastest timeline out of there. Best treatment. And all 3 of these stories are somehow related. And I have literally one of the sharpest people on the planet, like literally Mensa level, engineer, highly intuitive. This is Leanne here in Austin, Texas, just outside of, on a ranch. I want you to take a shot at tying all these together. And you've already touched on it when you were talking to us just 10 minutes ago, how you shift your reality, where you're putting your consciousness, your focus. Tie these 3 things together for us.
Well, this is something I talk about all the time, about manifesting your reality in every single moment of every day. So the thoughts that you're putting out, and even if you're just thinking them in your head or you're saying things verbally, you are creating that reality. So I tell people, in fact, I just told somebody yesterday, reminded them, like, don't say things like, I'm getting old. Don't ever say or think anything that you don't want to be true. So that's one aspect of manifesting your reality. So you do have that control in every single moment of every day, and I can talk more about that. But the thing where you see these glitches occurring, and I've experienced a number of them, things that are just like there's no explanation for them, things manifesting, like under my foot months after it disappeared. Lots of stories like that. But anyway, so we have there are these different parallel potential realities. I mean, different things. There's so much happening. that we just see this three-dimensional world, right? We think that this is everything, unless you're aware that there are other aspects and other layers that are happening simultaneously. And you can dip into those. You can, dip your toes in. You can go in and out. You can, this is kind of a high level conversation.
You're doing great.
You can access information from those other realities. You can also just shift like your timeline. And that's, with the Mandela effect, when it's like, how is it that everybody remembers this one thing, but now in this current timeline, it's this, like logos changing, or, people dying, or whatever. And there's tons of them, and they talk about the uh, what's the place where they're doing all the quantum physics research? I can't remember the name of it, but about that possibly,
CERN.
CERN, yes,
Yes.
CERN,
Okay.
CERN. But anyway, you don't need that to be able to tap into these other parallel realities. And like I said, you can either dip into them and get information, or you can shift over into them. And there are actually some good shows that kind of illustrate movies. One of them is Another Earth, I think it's called. Have you seen that one? Another Earth?
I'd need a reminder of who was in it or what the plot was.
It's a Canadian actress, and she writes screenplays. Hold on. Let me Google it and I'll tell you. Brit, BRITT.
I'll do a public service announcement for everybody watching. Hey,
Okay.
folks, so this is your chance. Put an emoji down if you're shy in the comment section, or do a real comment. Share this with someone you think might enjoy the channel. We're at over 500 tapings in 3 years, 3 months.
Marlon,
Hit like,
even before I
subscribe.
saw it. But
Oh.
sorry to cut you off. I remembered her name as soon as I was like, even before the result came out. It's Britt Marlin. But anyway,
Britt
go
Marlin.
ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so
Continue.
please subscribe, like, share, comment. What have you already found yourself reacting to or nodding to, or saying, I've had that happen to me? Put something down, because that actually impacts the algorithm and people's ability to see this video. Thank you very much. Okay, Leanne, back
Okay,
to
so
you. Tell us about Britt.
well, so there are a number of films that she's been in that kind of illustrate these I don't even know what noun to call them. But let me look up her IMDb, because I'll tell you the ones in particular. There's one that was a series. Another Earth is one. And because people often learn easily through film, and that's why they're there in the first place. Uh, let's see. The OA is a series. That's another good one. For understanding. I can't remember the sound of my voice, and the East. The East, I think, was another one. But anyway, there are lots of films that kind of, well, in The Matrix, that's a very popular one. The Matrix, there's another one that I just watched recently, The Adjustment. The
Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon.
Yes. Yeah. When you start watching some of these things and you realize that it's not just fiction or science fiction, that there's a lot of this actually going on. But again, we're kind of so programmed to just focus on go to your work, be a cog in the wheel, pay your taxes. That's an important one. They want you to make sure you're slaving away, and then give all your earnings to these entities that are, I call them the powers that want to be. So you're constantly in a state of stress and never can get ahead, never can be happy or fulfilled. And when you realize that, again, we have all this power, and we've been programmed to accept these, overlord wannabes, because they've programmed us through television, media, repetitive programming. You've got all these licensed, like lawyers and CPAs and the whole judicial system, and it's all an illusion. It's all a facade. And when you realize that there's like something else behind, like it's all Wizard of Oz, little man, tiny little, you know,
Yep.
thing behind the curtain. And we've been just led to believe that we have no power and we have to do these things. And when you wake up and you realize that you have all this power, and that's what they're very afraid of, because more and more people are now waking up to all of that.
Well, let's get right to that. In a way, and I'm quoting Angels here, for everything that we're talking about, it's not like somebody has to go out and do 1,000 spiritual push-ups a day. There's nothing to lose here. There's nothing to gain, they said. Move past seeing the negative. You have everything already within. If you'll just slow down a little more, out of thinking into your heart, pay attention more. Let's do some staccato, quick responses, but we're going to bring on our separate audience from the audience. That's Angels. I'm going to put up an angel named Joy. If you don't mind doing some direct listening, what does she say for all of us about this big topic? There's nothing to gain, nothing to lose. What do we need to really know or remember is probably the better way to say it. What's Joy say for all of us? And you're such a good listener on our behalf. So thank you in advance for doing this.
Stillness. That's
Stillness.
which is probably kind of what you said. I think of it as slow down to speed up, but get still and uh again, keep the, reject the clutter, keep it out. Not even rejecting, because that's an energy thing, but like allow it to not enter your field of reality. Stillness, and it doesn't require sitting on a meditation cushion.
Okay, I've got Charlotte for you. She's everybody's favorite school teacher. If you're in Canada, third form, not Mrs. Wilson, the one who got you in trouble, the nice one. Third grade, if you're here in America, that's fine. What's Charlotte saying we all need to know? What does mankind need to know?
Uh, the word I got doesn't make any sense. Envelope. I
Ooh,
don't
and
know.
if you'll leave your eyes on her, this is a chance for the audience at home. You can hit pause. You just need to leave your eyes on the photo. This photo will change colors. It'll move. You'll see a face in the ball of light. If you then need to close your eyes to lock it in better, that's fine. And you can ask for more clarity and hear a direct sentence, and type in a comment at home. Everyone's got the same ability. It's basic listening, basic feeling, basic seeing if you want to look out the window. All right. Leanne, what are you getting now from Charlotte? Let her come in, give permission to just hear directly in and out. What's the sentence?
Create a bubble.
Ooh.
Create a bubble. That's like the envelope thing. Create a bubble. Maybe, protective bubble. Where you're kind of like force fields kind of thing. Like where you've got that, because our aura, our energy body is, radiates out, a minimum of 6 feet, but many people are, bigger, which is why you can, you can, go into a room, expand your energy field and be noticed, or you can use a cloaking thing where you're invisible, like in Celestine prophecy. So, our energy body is, well, that's really who we are. This is just our physical car in life, but we're much more than this physical vehicle. So, but knowing that you have this force field essentially around you, and you can also focus on to strengthen it, spiraling the energy like this and going upwards and kind of from inside, and that strengthens this. It's kind of like anything coming at you, then just kind of goes boing. Like I don't know. There's an analogy I'm trying to think of. What is it that when you do that, you like probably think of the Tasmanian devil. Like when the Tasmanian devil is spinning like that, and then like nothing can, can come in and invade that space, because it just would go boing boing. That's what I'm getting from that message.
I have one more figure for you. Unconditional love spirit guide. Much more treetops. If angels are way up in the air, and for some you get loopy after you've connected because you're like, whoa, that's a lot. These guys are a little more grounded. I've got some Native American chiefs. I'm just picking one, Dull Knife, actual historical figure. I believe Cheyenne, and his shtick is wisdom. He's like a mountain range. That's Dull Knife for anybody really curious. Dull Knife, and just hear one beautiful observation. And you can catch a scent in the air, one of 60 sacred scents: tobacco, sweetgrass, juniper, pine, Douglas fir, desert pignol.
Sweet tobacco.
Oh,
Um, oh, I had the word as soon, but then as soon as I started talking, what was it? Strength.
and then catch if you need to put a hand out to the side off camera. Yep, like you're doing a tennis swing, but have him fill the meaning into your hand so that you feel the meaning and you're like, oh, got it.
I'm actually getting like a sword, um, but not like a weapon as a protection, um, which is kind of counter to, but almost like a lightsaber kind of thing. Um, Again, that ties in with what I was talking about before, creating that force field or strengthening the force field. Oh, there's the strength part also. Strengthening the force field. And you when you have okay, a few things are coming. When you have a weapon, you and your adversary knows that you have a weapon, you usually don't need to use the weapon because having the weapon is enough to protect you and let them know that you are protected. So, and it's a metaphorical thing. So if you have that inner strength and you know that you are protected and you broadcast that instead of, all these ideas are kind of coming together at the same time. Like if you've ever traveled, I used to travel all over and I would travel by myself. And I've traveled in areas that were, oh, don't go there, it's dangerous. Don't go into that part of town, it's dangerous. You literally can broadcast, I'm a potential victim, or you can broadcast, I am strong and, I'm fierce and don't mess with me. And people will respond to that. So, if you're broadcasting, I don't know where I'm going, I'm fearful, and, even if you don't know where you're going, you fake it, you pretend, you look like you don't ever walk around. These are little tricks that I used to when I traveled. You don't stand in the middle of the sidewalk and be looking at a map and going, where am I? Like you don't do that because that's just like a beacon. Oh, lost tourist, easy victim. Um, and wherever you are, even if you're out in the middle of the jungle or whatever, like, or walking, again, I've done so many things that would be like, oh, I can't believe you went there by yourself. They like you walked for like 6 hours by yourself and all these, and even encountering, um, what would potentially be dangerous individuals or situations and how you manage it and extricate yourself from the situation effortlessly. So having that understanding that we are very strong and potent, and it's like having a weapon, you're letting everybody know that I'm protected, whether it's a saber or a gun or whatever it is, where it's like, I have this protection and people won't mess with you because they're aware of the fact that you're protected by whatever it is that you're broadcasting. Or so the lightsaber, the sword is a metaphor for how we can actually just broadcast that energy constantly and say, I'm untouchable. You can't mess with me. And people or entities won't mess with you. But if you are open and fearful and you're not aware of the fact that your energy field is wide open, then you're going to be inviting in these negative energies and entities and individuals into your life because they see you as easy prey. And that applies to entities and dark energies as well. So that
We're
kind
going
of
to
ties to
hopefully help.
all of my messages.
We're going to hopefully help people have more confidence in just owning what they've already got. And I'll give you an example from Star Wars. I think it would be a follow-up movie to the 1977 original film. You see Luke on I forgot the name of the planet where Yoda lives, but it's very swampy, jungly. His X-Wing fighter is in the water, like sunk down, and he's
Mhm.
told, I think he's doing a headstand, and he's told to lift it out while he's focused on the headstand. And he sort of doesn't quite do it. I think he gets two-thirds of the way through, and then it goes back in. Yoda probably gets it out for him. I want to give a practical example. If anybody's going to a big city, you're going to New York. This is going to be great for Fifth Avenue. It drives you nuts if you're not used. I did 20 years in New York. The way to survive a big city and be able to walk a straight line down a busy sidewalk, Hong Kong, anywhere, do not make eye contact. Own where you're putting yourself, be in your heart. Look just above their heads, above their forehead, above the top of their hair, 2 inches above, leave your eyes in a fixed spot. And if you need a metaphor, develop your own metaphor, be there. Watch the crowd part for you. If you start to have self doubt, don't listen to the voice, but you can slow down your walk so that now they have more time to get out of your way. The worst that happens, don't panic and start swerving where you're going 5 people. It takes you, an extra 20 meters to go 100 meters. Um, you can stop and then they still have to go around you and then you regain your composure. It's sort of like lifting the X fighter out of the water. Now we're going to do a much more simple.
I'll tell
Oh,
you
go
another
ahead.
one. I have to tell you another one because I did this when I lived in California and I was 24. I was managing a 69 kV electrical substation. I was the project manager on it for the city of Anaheim for Disneyland. And I was living in San Diego and the job site was in Anaheim. And I had to get up at 4 in the morning and I'm not a I mean, I'm a morning person. I want to be quiet and not talk to anybody, morning person. But anyway, so I had to get up super early, drive my company truck all the way up there, open up the job site. So, but coming back, I'd be kind of like in the middle of rush hour because in the morning there wasn't a lot of traffic, but coming back, because we would finish the job site, I think we would close it down like around 4 o'clock and then I'd have to finish up and then I'd be heading back down to San Diego. So I with terrible California rush hour traffic would do this thing where I could be flying. I would fly down the road, drive very fast, and I could see the path and I could get people to move out of my way because I was actually, well, inviting them to, like if somebody was in front of me, I'd be like, move, I could move to the right lane. It worked every single time. And I would so I was moving like this, but I could see where the opening would be. So I'm like driving, so this is back when the speed limit was 55 and it was like a hard 55. They didn't have like 65 as speeding. So I could be like 75, 80 miles an hour driving through this very dense traffic. And you'll resume. And it was interesting because there was another vehicle that a couple times showed it was the same individual, and we would be kind of doing this racing. I never figured out who it was, or maybe it was who knows, a guide or whatever. But I used to do that all the time. Like your experience of walking through down the sidewalk in New York City, which would be comparable to driving in major rush hour traffic in California, trying to get back to San Diego.
And I think people have a common experience, a much more frequent experience when it comes to allowing parking spots to open up for
Yeah,
people.
that's an easy one.
They magically have cracked the code for that. Or if it's again a big city, getting a bar stool at a bar, a crowded bar, the seat opens up for you, you're suddenly seated. I was great at that, but getting the attention of bartenders, I would be bypassed 7 times in a row so that somebody sitting next to me who had their attention would usually end up speaking up. They would see it. They would witness that I was invisible practically, and they would end up, it wouldn't matter if I was holding a 20, a 50 in my hand, I'd stay invisible somehow. So
Yeah.
that someone would be like, what the heck is going on? They've missed you 10 times. They would intercede on my behalf and be like, he needs to order a drink. He's been here like 7, 10 minutes. And
We talked about that last time, and I
we
told
did,
you if you did this trick where you expand your energy field, they would have seen you
yeah.
because you literally weren't. your energy field was kind of like you were in cloaking mode instead of in all my dogs are suddenly going to the
That's funny that we came back to that topic one way or the other. I'm going to show a little light against this as a background, but I'm going to encourage people. It's out of Celestine Prophecy, the movie. But as Sue Frederick said, in the 1970s, she was still a healer back then. She said, hey, we were doing this before they did it in the movie. So it existed before the movie. And in India, they do it this way. I am going to have trouble doing it this way if I'm standing up, but I'm going to show a little light between my fingers. If you don't mind saying what you're seeing, is it blue, green, and yellow? Is it rainbow light? Folks, if it's rainbow light, hit pause, run out, buy a lotto ticket. You're stuck on the last chapter of your book for the last 6 months. Go write the last chapter. If you're worried about running the 5 miles, it's time to go run the 5 miles. Although, don't take any physical or medical advice from us on the show. Here's the background. You'll see a little bit of aura, light, consciousness, love, the force from Star Wars. And everybody gets one dad joke. What's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips or iris. Here it goes. Leanne, let us know what you see in just a second. What are you getting for a little filament of light right now?
Yeah, I always can see the aura. I'm waiting for the color to come in. See what color you are today. You are, I'm kind of like a combination of emerald green and not blue, like a shining blue, a bright, there's some purple.
And if you could turn one hand up, it could be off camera if you want. Just feel that light go into your hand. Yep. And when you really feel it, you can look down and see it or bring it into your heart and get a hug that way. Once you've done it, I'll stop at this end. Yep, now you're on your own. And people can play this over. A good time to put an emoji. Put a fire emoji, a rainbow emoji, or some sort of a light, those yellow sparkles, if you got it done but don't want to really admit it. No one else is going to know that that was the code that you got it done. And but we have a lot of comments on the website. I don't have time anymore to put all the comments of people saying, hey, I just saw purple light. That was cool.
Mhm.
Okay, Leanne, I'm going to put up one more angel photo. It'll be four archangels, rainbow pie slices, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. There's so many different ways they can show up. You can see them in human form. Look out onto your lawn daytime. You know, if you got to light some sage, light a candle, take a shower, go for a run. I mean, exercise is compassion. Uh, do something to set your intent, let go, get out of what you know into your heart, and let them do the filling in. Here's four archangels: Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. What's a final big message for mankind that you're getting from these folks, besides an earthquake in Austin, Texas?
Okay.
A tail hitting the
Let's
screen?
never do this. She's picking up all this energy. Okay, what are we supposed to be doing? Sorry.
Just what do they have as a final reminder to keep it simple, keep it real simple for mankind?
Okay. Huh, focus, stay focused. Um, stay focused on, like we started, the ultimate goal. And when you stay focused, you're gonna be attracting those opportunities into your life and those experiences that resonate at the same frequency as what you're envisioning, and you'll get there faster. And even if all these other people are in a state of chaos, you're not going to be there. You'll be in this blissful situation, because again, we can have all these realities that are happening simultaneously, and you don't have to be in their reality. You can be in your reality.
Okay, let's go for completely dumbstruck. We're not going to tell anybody anything here. We're just going to share a little morsel while we've been talking, whether it was before the filming, after, during the show here. I've had a little bit of light go by at this end. I know we captured something on camera at 31 minutes and 5 seconds. Your whole, for me,
Oh,
the top
I just saw one for you. It went from your, like, by whatever, look at the time.
122:44, I'll say. Was
Yes,
it by the couch? Was it by the bike?
it was in front of the exercise bicycle,
Oh,
but it was
good.
next to you. It was coming off your, kind of like going from in front of you to over your shoulder,
Yep.
but passing in front of the bicycle, but closer to you, not back there.
I'll check that out as well. We'll paste those at the front. So without telling us anything, When have you been dumbstruck? You've had an angel show up right in front of you. It was dream time and it was a good thing. You were like, wow, I needed that. When have you gotten some sort of interaction? Just tell us the colors, who it was. Was it a woman from a galactic far, far away spot or interdimensional? When have you been just absolutely dumbfounded, dumbstruck, and just, wow, I need a V8 moment? Oh, thank you. I needed that.
Well, one in particular, that because there's a lot that happens in dream states, but this one in reality during the 2021 polar vortex storm, if you remember that. Um, and I had, no power out here and I didn't have backup energy back then. So I'm like, and I'm completely isolated. I can't drive anywhere because the roads are covered in ice. So I'm here and I didn't have any of my dogs back then. I just had my two cats. And that was in February 2021. And I had something in my bathroom and it was a very large being. And I think I've seen photos of them since then, but very, very tall, um, in kind of a cloak kind of thing, but not threatening. And I could see it in there. And there was a lot going on during that. I was reading a book that gave me a lot of information at the time, so it was kind of coinciding with all of that.
It was a
Anyway,
positive being, I take it. Yeah.
yeah, well, yes, but it was daunting because it wasn't something threatening, but it felt like what I don't know. I feel weird talking about some of these things because
Yep. Here, here's
anyway.
Charlotte for you. If you want to close your eyes, you can either just have Charlotte come in, but if you want to have, let's say it was one of those blue beings or something like that. But the point is, close your eyes and you can just have Charlotte come in, or you can have Charlotte and a really happy, high vibe version of what you saw in the bathroom. Either way, allow for what you can allow for. If you want it in the room around you, and that's Charlotte first, you don't have to take the second step, but get a very positive hug, reassuring. It's the equivalent of a dog treat for a dog. But we're not dogs, so we're going to go for a little higher vibe energy.
Yeah.
And what's one more thing you want to add for all of us about just staying open or opening openness? Let's do a little Tibetan Buddhism.
Um, yeah, open is a good word. Open and protected and open, but making a conscious choice. I had to do this during an ayahuasca ceremony where I would be anyway, longer story about that. You can remain open, but give a command as to what you're going to allow to come in. So love, high vibration, positive beings, and block out any negative energies. So you can still remain open because again, you don't want to stay closed because that requires energy. So it's not about being closed and putting all that energy into like blocking things. It's about, creating that swirling energy where you're like, that's a natural force field. So, which doesn't require energy because it's kind of like it's self-generating. Um, and making a conscious, statement, keeping that in your thoughts about allowing positive love, support to come in, but keeping everything else up. Nobody else is welcome.
Well, I'm going to whoosh you some energy. We'll start to wrap up. I'm going to whoosh you some energy. It's going to be hopefully angel light, love and above, just high vibe. Probably do it 3 quick times. Each one will exponentially grow a little bit. And then we'll do a final figure. It'll be the soft, furry, shampooed fur of the tiger, the deity-like figure in India that you'll see the Divine Mother or Durga ride on. I think there's a couple versions, but this tiger is action, soft fur. Anybody who already wants to get to it, hit pause on that photo and put your hand off camera. You'll feel the soft shampooed fur. First, are you ready for a little whooshing? My microphone's down here. I'm going to blow. I'm going to push light. Um, and let us know just the baseline. Here's the gentle one first. Okay, here we go. Did you get flowers? Did you feel a light touch? What did you get?
Like ocean breeze,
Ooh,
like salty air, like clean ozony air.
I love it. You're invited back on the show. You're already coming back on for another Angels, Positivity, and Love, the main show. We've got 300 of those out now, 301, 320 are taped, and we have another 100 plus of the APL Spotlight series. I think you're seeing at episode 105 as we speak now. We have 25 or 26 of the Mind, Body, Spirit panels. We have about 27 or 28 booked. They take so much extra work with 3 guests, but we should be doing more of those, and about 75 of me solo, where I try to do as much as I can for folks. You really do it all. So here it goes, folks at home. If you need extra help, put 2 hands on your heart. Do the hokey pokey. Get up and do the chubby checker, the Elvis. Make yourself laugh. What have you not done in a while? Cock your head, stick your tongue out. It doesn't matter. Let go. But if you're at the supermarket right now in front of the avocados watching on your iPhone, that's perfect. Do the chubby checker and make 20 people laugh. You've just opened openness. There's no one way to do this. Be in your heart, be joy. Okay, here we go. Second one.
Drink your
If any
water.
Yeah, if anyone wants to make a request, make the request. Be like, I've got a half marathon coming up Sunday. I could use a little extra energy. Or just, hey, uh, help me slow down a little. Here it comes.
Hmm.
What was that about?
Roses,
Oh,
roses. Huh.
now, the third one, I'm going to do what you've been telling us to do 3 times during the film.
Still smell them.
I'm going to do spinning vortices of light that are, again, angels and light beings and love and above. And they're going to hit you different ways. And hopefully, we're going to get even more words out of you. But here it comes. I'm going to tell one dad joke. Why did the rabbit fall down that well? He didn't see that well. Here it goes.
Something herbaceous. I can't identify it. Not like straw, fresh cut grass, something like an herb, um, like not flowers, but something, some plant, fragrant plant, but not floral. But I
Basil.
don't. It's, okay, well, basil is very distinctive, but I like basil, but let's call it basil. Okay,
Okay.
whatever.
Okay, I'm gonna put up that tiger. Get something private. Get a hug. Off camera, put up a. You've already been touching dogs forever. It's time to feel tiger fur, shampooed. It's unlike the jaguar, which is wiry and short. I'm not knocking Jaguar Mama. She's amazing. But it's time for a little tiger out of India, the highest vibration out of India. If India's 40 countries, if anyone's been there, ask for the highest vibration. You might get extra. You might get incense in the air from India. You might hear temple music coming over into your room. And you might even hear the trees speaking to you from India. Catch very sacred movements, but then feel the soft fur. Tiger is action, and Tiger is on everyone's team. You need that protection. You need that instruction. Why not? If you don't ask, you don't get. And are you getting the soft shampooed fur? That's all we really want to know, Leanne.
All of that and breeze and fragrance and the strongest thing was like singing bowl, but resonance that if you know what a singing bowl sounds like, where it fills the whole space with that sound.
And we're going to put you on the spot, but we're going to show that it's really easy to go complete openness in the moment. Can you close us out on the show and let Tiger and Charlotte help you with the formulation of a few sentences, another point to make, and we'll close it out. Here's Tiger, here's Charlotte and Angel. And just say, got it when you got it. I'll put these down.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not a sentence, it's 3 words: clarity, focus, and purpose. Clarity. Did I say purpose before? Did that come up? Those are
Clarity, focus, and
clarity,
purpose.
focus, and purpose.
Love it.
So having clarity and focus about what your purpose is, I guess, would make the whole sentence.
Sounds like a book title to me.
Clarity, focus, and purpose. That's a good, that would make it good. It's very, yeah. Clarity, focus.
Leave us with the last insight from you. We're having you back, but tell us something more about clarity, focus, purpose. How do we already have it all here? How are we more just dusting off like archaeologists, but not even. We're more like we've just got a good whisk or a broom, and we're just getting
Mhm.
rid of some of the dirt that's accumulated or dust,
Yeah, or cobwebs.
cobwebs.
You think of cleaning the cobwebs in your home if they start accumulating and things that you don't even see, another good metaphor. Sometimes you don't look up and see, oh my God, I've got all these like cobwebs accumulating.
Hmm.
And but when you clean those out, you take a broom or whatever and you pull them down, even though you weren't consciously aware that they were there, it shifts the energy in the room and it becomes much because then the energy can move, goes to the corners of the room instead of getting stuck there. And it's the same thing in your energy field. When you clean out like all this debris that's been cluttering up the energy, then everything flows more freely. It's like kind of like taking a energy hose of clean, pure water and spraying everything and getting rid of all the dust and the cobwebs, and then everything is shiny and new again. And but the thing being that it's always there. It's always there under the surface. It's not like you have to become something. It's about getting rid of the stuff that's obscuring who you really are because you're already there.
We're going to do one last exercise, and it's going to be bringing in water consciousness, topaz, light, aquamarine, whatever I'm looking for that's bright, Bahamian water, reflective, that beautiful, brilliant blue. I'm going to
Yeah.
put both hands up. You only have to put one hand up if you want, but I'll put both hands up. Let's let that light come through. Let me know when you're feeling something. And if you could let angels top you off, if you could use words to describe what you're feeling and seeing, they'll bring you that blue light. It's absolutely riveting. It's incredible.
I,
And then water consciousness itself is brilliant, like genius brilliant. It'll talk with you. What's a final, I promise. Last thing here. What are you getting now? What are you feeling? What are you seeing?
hmm. It's about cleansing. It kind of ties in with what I said before, but it's the cleansing and purity. Was purity one of the words that I said before?
We'll have
Cleansing
to go
and
back about
I
2 minutes on
I
the
don't
video.
know because they're the words that are popping in my head. I'm like, did I already say those? Is that anyway? I don't know if it's
Clarity, something, and purpose.
cleansing. Well, this time it was cleansing and purity.
Ooh,
Cleansing and purity. Whatever the last three were, clarity, purpose, and focus. Yeah, okay, so they weren't in
clarity,
overlap.
focus, and
Cleansing
purpose.
and cleansing and clarity before cleansing. And what was the other one that I just said?
Clarity,
Purity.
focus, and purpose, and
Yeah, and
cleanse.
then cleansing and purity. So being restored to that true pure state. So again, kind of the metaphor of like cleaning out the cobwebs and then not just cleaning out the cobwebs and having like dusty residue, but like spraying it down with this pure, brilliant blue water that then keeps like raises the vibration of the whole space. Gets rid, and again, it's about removing the things, the obfuscation, I think is the word, the things that are clouding and muddying the clarity. You wash that away, and then we've got this true pure, white light gold essence that's always there. And a big part of that is deprogramming from the stuff that we've been programmed with.
I know that Big Mary said about 10 years ago or so, and I'll try to get her words right. Love is in everything. Open your eyes to find love. And with that, I'll end this with a big thank you. Leanne Venier here outside of Austin, Texas, probably just like 45 to 70 miles away. If we had a helicopter, it'd only be a 30-minute, 20-minute trip.
Yeah.
You're an amazing guest. You shared a lot with us today. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Michael. Always love being here. Bye.